Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are fine. The topic for our lecture number 11 of the Human Resource Management and Development is establishing rewards and pay plans. The material for used in this lecture has been taken from two books. The first book is the Armstrong and book 2014, and the second book is the Decenzo and Robbins 2005. The detailed references have been given at the end of this lecture. In this lecture we will discuss different topics. The first topic will be reward philosophy, a classification of rewards, compensation administration, job evaluation and the pay structure, and special cases of compensation will also be discussed. Dear students, as the topics of the in the previous slide show, all this lecture consists of the topics in which we will have discussion on how the employees are compensated through the different types of the rewards. What are the different, we will discuss in this lecture the types of the rewards, how the rewards are made, the classification of rewards, the compensation administration, and how the top level management is paid, how different types of the employees are paid. Dear student, the study of the rewards is important for the students of the human resource development and management because whenever we allocate a task to anyone, his first question would be, what's in it for me? Whenever we almost every person will ask, what will be the benefit of this action for me? So this means that the rewards play an important role in shaping behaviors. Almost every individual, it is our common experience that almost every individual asks the question before engaging in any behavior, that what's in it for me? And it is because most of the people, all of us, we work to satisfy our needs. We work in order to get something which may satisfy our needs. We need money to satisfy our needs, to pay for our children's fees, to pay for our livelihoods, to pay for our food, to pay for our children's health, education, and other needs. So definitely, if a task is allotted to us, our first question will be, how much I will be paid? The people look for a payoff reward before doing anything. The most obvious reward the employees receive is the pay. Almost all the people work to get the pay which may satisfy their needs. But the reward doesn't mean only pay. It includes a number of other benefits like promotions, desirable work assignment, a smile, peer acceptance, work freedom, or a kind of recognition. It is necessary to discuss reward philosophy before going into the details of the rewards. Now, what is reward philosophy? The reward philosophy of an organization represents its beliefs about how people should be rewarded. Reward philosophy of any organization, whether it is a local organization, international organization, small, big, any type of, irrespective of the size, location, it shows the belief of that organization that how the people are rewarded. Therefore, it is necessary that such type of the philosophy should be communicated to the employees to update them about the reward policies and practices. It's a type of motivation because if a person works in an organization, he will be interested in the knowing the reward policies. So any action taken to update the reward policy should be communicated to the employees concerned. Similarly, guiding principles are often agreed by top management with advice from the company reward specialists or external consultants. Whenever the reward policy is designed, it is designed by the company's own specialists or sometimes with the advice from the external consultants. And usually, the suggestion from the company reward specialists or external consultants is agreed by the top management. But this policy will be more acceptable if members of the organization are involved in the definition. This policy will be welcomed by the employees if they are taken into confidence while developing this policy. The guiding principle can then be communicated to everyone to increase understanding of what underpins reward policies and practices. However, they have nothing to do with the philosophy itself but the pay practices. Dear student, the reward guiding principles are often concerned with the issues like operating the reward system justly, fairly, equitably, and transparently in the interest of all stakeholders. While designing a reward system, all the stakeholders should be taken into account. Similarly, developing reward policies leading to the achievement of business goals should also be taken into account. The people should be rewarded according to their contribution, and the value of each and every individual should be recognized. They should be appreciated, and not only those people should be appreciated, those do something extraordinary, but what the people do, there should be feedback, and the feedback should be positive one. Providing reward that attract and retain people and enlist their engagement. Helping to develop a high performance culture, maintaining competitive rates of pay, maintaining equitable rates of pay, and allowing reasonable degree of flexibility in the operation of reward processes, and developing more responsibility for reward decision to line managers. These are the certain principles, these are the certain issues which should be taken into account while developing a reward policy and practices. Because if these issues are taken into account, it will be not only in the benefit of the stakeholder, the benefit of the employees, but also in the benefit of the organizations. Because if these principles are pursued, then the employees will be motivated. They will be motivated, and once they are motivated, this will definitely lead to the development of the organization. Dear students, our next topic is classification of rewards. As discussed in the earlier slides, that the rewards can be of different types. Reward doesn't mean only pay. It includes a number of benefits. In this topic, we will discuss the different types of the awards. Suppose the first one is the intrinsic versus extrinsic awards. The concept of the intrinsic and extrinsic is already discussed in previous lectures. The intrinsic rewards are those rewards which are for person satisfaction one derives from doing the job. These self-initiated rewards include pride in one's work, a sense of accomplishment, or enjoying being part of a work team. Job enrichment, for example, can offer employees intrinsic rewards by making work team more meaningful, give the opportunity to the employees to express their talent and appreciate their talent, are actually the recognition of the employees are if they are the types of the intrinsic rewards. The extrinsic rewards include money, promotions, and benefit. These are external to the job. The intrinsic rewards are relevant to more to the personality, more to the behavior of the employees. But extrinsic rewards are which are given in the form of money, promotions, and benefit. These are external to job and come from outside source, mainly management. Consequently, if an employee experiences a sense of achievement or personal growth from a job, we would label such reward as intrinsic. If employees receive a salary increase or write-up in company's magazine, we would label these rewards as extrinsic. Financial versus non-financial rewards. It is another category of the rewards, and it is evident from the title of the subtopic, because rewards may or may not enhance the employee's financial well-being. Those that do so directly, for instance through wages, bonuses, profit sharing, or indirectly through employer subsidized benefits such as retirement plan, paid vacations, paid sick leaves, purchase discounts. These are some of the rewards known as financial rewards, which are in the form of payment. In other words, financial rewards consist of job-based pay, which provides pay related to the value of the job, and person's based pay, which provides rewards that recognize the individual contribution. They also include employees' benefits and pensions and financial recognition schemes. Means financial rewards are all those rewards which are relevant to the financial benefits, while the non-financial rewards present a variety of desirable extras for the organization. They do not directly increase the employee's financial position, but rather aid attraction to life on the job. The creation of these rewards is limited only by HRM ability to use them to motivate the desirable behavior. HRM must take great care in providing the right non-financial reward for each person. With proper selection, organizational benefits by way of increased performance should be significant. Status-oriented employees may value an impressive job title, their own business card, their own administrative assistant, or a well-located parking space. These are the non-financial rewards. Other employees may value opportunities to dress casually while at work, or even work in a part at home. Some incentives are within the organizational discretion and carefully used may enhance performance. The third category of the rewards is performance-based versus membership-based rewards. Dear students, Organizations allocate rewards based on either performance or membership criteria. HR representatives often argue that their system rewards performance, but you should recognize that this isn't always the case. Few organizations actually reward employees on the basis of performance. Without question, the dominant basis for reward allocation is in the organization is membership. For example, commissions, piecework pay plans, incentive system, group bonuses, merit pay. Membership-based rewards include cost of living increases, benefits, salary increases attributable to labor market conditions, seniority, rank, and specialized skill or future potential. The membership-based rewards are generally extended regardless of individual's group or organization's performance. In any case, performance may only be a minor determinant of reward, despite academic theories holding that high motivation depends on performance-based rewards. This this figure shows classification of rewards in detail. We can see here that first the rewards can broadly be categorized into intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. In the intrinsic reward, we discussed that some of the employees are interested in participation in decision making. They feel happy. It consider their pleasure to participate in decision making. So, on the basis of their performance, if they are allowed to participate in decision making, it's a very good reward for them. Similarly, we discussed in detail in the theory of organizational behavior that the psychology of different employees differ. So some of the employees at different levels, they like freedom. So greater job freedom and discretion is a big reward for them. Similarly, some people feel happy when more responsibilities are given to them. Similarly, more interesting work opportunities for personal growth and diversity of activities are some of the rewards which are intrinsic in nature, and these are from within the employees, and these are relevant to the psychology of the personality of the employees. Another category of the rewards is extrinsic rewards, which can be divided into financial and non-financial rewards. The financial rewards can be performance-based, implied membership-based, explicit membership-based, and the details are given below. While the non-financial rewards preferred includes preferred office furnishings, preferred lunch hours, assigned parking spaces, preferred work assignments and business cards, own secretary, impressive title, own assistant. These are the 9 financial rewards for the employees. The next topic is the compensation administration. Why do some regional managers at an international bank earn more than others? Why some jobs have very high salary package while the others have low? If this question is asked, then most of the people will say that the regional managers are more skilled and have greater job responsibility, so they should earn more. Or those having the highest salary packages, they work more, and they have greater skills, greater education, greater training, and they are highly skilled. That is why they are paid more. But how about regional managers who specialize in commercial accounts? Should they make more or less than regional managers who supervise several branch operations? To answer this question, questions like these, why some of the employees are paid more than others, these lie in the answer of these questions lie in the job evaluation. The jobs are ranked, the salaries are graded on the basis of the job evaluation. Job evaluation is the process whereby an organization systematically establishes its compensation program. In this process, jobs are compared to find each job's appropriate worth within the organization. Employees exchange work for rewards. Probably the most important reward, and indeed the most obvious, is the money. But not all employees earn the same amount of money. Why? The search for this answer moves us directly into the topic of compensation administration. The goal of compensation administration is to design a cost-effective pay structure that will attract, motivate, and retain competent employees. This is a very responsible job, responsible task, because the employees also are updated. They know what pay structure is prevailed in the market. So if an organization want to attract employees to their own organization, then they must develop such a pay structure which may be attractive for the employees working in their organization and which may motivate them to work. The structure should also appear fair to the employees. The system of the payment should be fair. Fairness is a term that frequently arises in the administration of an organization's compensation program. Fairness means a wage or salary that is adequate for demand and requirements of the job. Of course, fairness is a two-way street. Employees too want fair compensation. If employees perceive an imbalance in their efforts-reward ratio to the comparative standard, they will act to correct the inequity. Thus, both employees and employers pursue fairness. Almost every government influence on the compensation administration. Some HR functions are more heavily influenced by the government than by others, because we know that the lower limit is fixed by the government. Similarly, there are rules and regulations for the payment system, and issued by the government, and the organizations have to follow those rules and regulations. For example, collective bargaining and the employee selection process are constrained by government rules and regulations. Compensation administration is also highly regulated. Government policies set, as I discussed, that the minimum wages are set by the government, and the minimum benefit that employees must meet, and these policies provide protection for the certain groups. An abundance of laws and regulations define the general parameters within which the managers decide what fair compensation is. Few of the acts relevant to the US are discussed here, which are relevant to the compensation administration. For example, this is a very good example. In 2008, Starbucks and Walmart were among the many employees that were found to have violated the laws regulating pay. Starbucks had been distributing tip money to supervisors in addition to coffee making employees who earned the tips. This tip was distributed illegally because the supervisor could not be in the tip pool because their position allowed them to hire, fire, supervise, and direct workers. So they are out of the tip pool. Starbucks was ordered to repay $100 million to the baristas who had their tips diverted to managers. Walmart agreed to pay $700 million to settle lawsuits nationwide that alleged employees were routinely underpaid. The practices of Walmart were not allowing employees to take rest and meal breaks. Walmart and Starbucks are hardly alone. The U.S. Department of Labor estimates that 7 in 10 U.S. employers are violating the wage and hour regulations. The costly errors are part of a trend that has caused the yearly number of the wage complaints filed with the Department of Labor to double in the last 10 years. The Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA. It is an act of the U.S. government which set the federal requirements for minimum wages, overtime pay, record keeping, and child labor restrictions. It is an important act which protects the minimum wage. It regulates the organization to pay overtime and keep records for it, and also to restrict the child labor. Almost all organizations are covered by FLSA, but not all employees are covered. The Act identifies two primary categories of employees: exempt and non-exempt. Exempt employees would include those in professional and managerial jobs. Under the Act, jobs are categorized as exempt are not required to meet FLSA standards, especially in the area of overtime pay. Workers earning less than $23,660 per year or $455 per week are guaranteed overtime protection. So, this is a very good act. The non-exempt employees receive certain protection under the FLSA. Especially employees in these jobs are eligible for premium pay. Moreover, these jobs must be paid at least with minimum wage as set up 7.25 in 2009. Some states require wages higher than the federal minimum. In certain circumstances, employees may be paid less than the minimum. The Civil Rights and Equal Pay Act. This act protects employees from discrimination, just as it is illegal to discriminate in hiring. Organizations cannot discriminate in pay on the basis of race, color, creed, age, or sex. Job evaluation and the pay structure. Now, what is job evaluation? Job analysis is the process of describing job duties, authority relationships, skill required, conditions of work, and additional relevant information. Similarly, by job evaluation, we mean using job analysis information to systematically determine the value of each job in relation to all jobs within the organization. So this means the main difference between job analysis and job evaluation is that job analysis provides us the relevant information about the job, that what are the duties of under a specific job position, what are the third relationships, what skills are required, what education is required, and what will be the responsibilities as the conditions of the work, etc. On the basis of the information provided through the job analysis, the job evaluation value each job in relation to all jobs within the organization. In short, job evaluation seeks to rank all jobs in an organization in hierarchy that reflects the relative worth of each. Means through job evaluation, the experts try to value jobs, rank jobs, and design a structure in which some jobs are ranked higher based on the information provided through the job analysis. It is important to note that this is ranking of jobs, not the people. Job evaluation assumes normal job performance by a typical worker. The ranking that results from job evaluation is not an end in itself. It should be used to determine the organizational pay structure. External labor market conditions, collective bargaining, and individual skills differences may require a compromise between the job evaluation ranking and actual pay structure. Isolating the job evaluation criteria. The heart of job evaluation is determining appropriate criteria to arrive at the ranking. It is easy to say that jobs are valued and ranked by their relative job worth, but ambiguity increases when attempt to state what places one job higher than another job in the pay structure hierarchy. Most job evaluation plans use responsibility, skill, effort, and working condition as major criteria for job evaluation, but each of these in turn can be broken into more specific terms. Skill, for example, is an observable competence to perform learned psychomotor act. You should not expect the criteria to be constant across the jobs, because as evident from the job analysis, different jobs may have different skills required for specialties required for that job. Because jobs differ, it is traditional to separate them into common groups. For example, production, clerical, sales, professional and managerial jobs, and these jobs should be evaluated separately. Treating like groups similarly allows for more valid rankings within categories, but still leaves unsettled the importance of criteria between categories. Different methods are used for the job evaluation. Now let us discuss few of the well-known methods. The first method is the ordering method. The ordering method requires a committee with the management and employee representatives to arrange jobs in a simple rank order from highest to lowest. The ordering method is based on a committee. This committee should have the members from the management as well as from the employees. What they do, that initially they compare two jobs and judge which one is more important than other, or which one is more difficult to perform than the other. Then they take another job and compare that third job with the first two, and so on until all jobs have been evaluated and ranked. The most obvious limitation to the ordering method is its sheer unmanageability with numerous jobs. Imagine the difficulty of correctly ranking hundreds or thousands of jobs in an organization. So this means that sometimes it is very difficult to manage. The second method is the classification method. The OPM requires that classification grades should be established and published in what they call their general schedules. The classifications are created by identifying some common denominators like skills, knowledge, responsibility, and these are used to create distinct classes or grades of job. Examples may include shop jobs, clerical jobs, sales jobs, depending of course on the type of the jobs organization requires. Once the classifications are established, they are rated in overall order of importance according to the criteria chosen, and each job is placed in an appropriate classification. This method shares most of the disadvantages of the ordering approach, plus difficulty of writing classification descriptions, judging which jobs go where, and dealing with jobs that appear to fall into two or more classifications. One plus of this method is that it has proven itself successful and viable in classification of the millions of kinds and levels of the civil service jobs. Another method for the job evaluation is the point method. This method breaks down jobs based on various identifiable criteria, that is, skill, effort, responsibility, and allows points to each of these criteria. The point method offers the greatest stability of four approaches presented. Jobs may change over time, but the rating scale established under the point method may stay intact. Additionally, the methodology underlying the approach contributes to minimum of the rating error. On the other hand, the point method is complex, therefore cost and time consuming to develop. Means that this method is a little bit difficult and complex as compared to the classification method and ordering method. The key criteria must be carefully and clearly identified. Degrees of factor must be agreed on all terms. All letters recognize. The weight of each criterion must be established and point valued must be assigned to degrees. It is expensive and time consuming to both implement and maintain. The point method appears to be most widely used method. Establishing the pay structure. Establishing pay rates and ranges compatible with the ranks classification are points arrived through job evaluation. Any of the three job evaluation methods can provide the necessary input for overall pay structure. As we discussed in the three methods, the ordering method, the point method, and the classification method, that all these methods rank jobs according to the different criteria. And that job evaluation criteria helps us in establishing a pay structure. Each of these methods have strengths and weaknesses, but because of its why used here in this lecture, we will use the point method to show how point totals are combined with compensation survey data to form wage curves. Compensation surveys. Many organizations use surveys to gather factual information on pay practices within specific communities and among firms in their industry. They use information for comparison purposes. It can tell compensation committees if organization wages are in line with those of other employers, and in shortage of employees to fill certain positions may help set wage levels. Many industry and employee associations also conduct surveys, compensation surveys, and make their results available. Organizations can conduct surveys of their own. It would not be unusual, for instance, for the HRM director at Microsoft in Seattle to regularly share wage data on key positions. This person might identify jobs such as maintenance engineer, electrical engineer, computer programmer, or administrative assistant, and share comprehensive descriptions of these jobs with other firms in the industry. Wage curves. A wage curve can be defeated to the data obtained through job evaluation and compensation surveys. The job evaluation and the compensation surveys provide, or even the surveys conducted by the organization for the other purposes, can provide a data on the basis of which a wage curve can be drawn, as shown in figure number 2. So we can see the wage curve in figure number 2. This example assumes use of point method and plots points, totals, and wage data. A separate wage curve can be constructed based on survey data and compared for discrepancies. A completed wage curve tells the compensation committee the average relationship between the points of established pay grades and wage base rates. Further, it can identify jobs whose pay is out of trend. This means that the pay level is frozen or below average increases are granted until the structure adjusts upward to put the circled rate within the normal wage. Of course, a wage rate may be out of line but not red circled. This is a wage curve where we see the point established by compensation committee on the x-axis and the hourly wage rate on y-axis. The need to attract or keep individuals with specific skills may require a wage rate outside the normal range. The wage structure. It is only a short step from plotting a wage curve to developing the organizational wage structure. Jobs in similar terms of classes, grades, or points are grouped together. For example, from 0 to 100 points can be placed in the grade 1 with the range of the hourly wage rates from 4.75 to 5.75. Similarly, the from 100 to 200 grade 2, 200 to 300 grade 3, 300 to 400 grade 4, 400 to 500 can be placed in having the jobs lying in the range of 400 to 500 can be placed in grade 5, and 500 to 600 can be placed in the grade 6. As shown in the figure, the result is a logical hierarchy of wages. The more important jobs are paid more, and as individuals assume jobs of the greater importance, they rise within the wage hierarchy. Jobs may also be paid in accordance with the knowledge and competence based. Typically, organizations design their wage structures with ranges in each grade to reflect different tenure in positions as well as levels of performance. Additionally, although more organizations create a degree of overlap between grades, employers may reach the top of these grades. Their grades can increase their pay only by moving to a higher grade. However, wage structures are adjusted every several years so that employees who top out in their pay grade aren't maxed forever. There are some other external factors which also affect the wage rate, the compensation package. So the HR should also keep in mind those factors in order to develop an attractive, valid pay structure. And one of such type of the factors is the geographic differences. Cost of labor is a function of supply and demand, among many other factors. When local supply of labor falls short of demand, wages will increase. Conversely, if local labor supply exceed demand, wages will decrease. Dear students, you may have read in your theory of microeconomics that the wage rate depends on the demand and supply of the labor in the market. So if the labor supply is less than the labor demand in the local market, wages will rise. If the supply of the labor supply is greater than the demand for labor, then definitely more and more people will be offering their services. There is a higher level of unemployment, so this means the wages will decrease. This can cause a wage fluctuation in some geographic areas and cities depending on how far workers are willing to travel for a job. Labor supply. When unemployment rates are low, employers must work harder to attract the qualified workers. This often includes raising wages to tempt workers to leave their current employment and apply. Employers may also encounter situations where there is poor supply of workers with one set of skills, such as framing carpenters, but a shortage of workers with another set of skills, such as welders. It's a very common issue that the wage rate also depends. The compensation package also is affected by the labor supply. If there is the unemployment rate is low, then it is difficult to hire the employees, and they will have to be offered a higher rate if you want to the employees to leave their existing job and come to your firm, so you will have to pay higher. While in case of more unemployment, the case is reversed. Competition. Just as an organization must consider competition when setting prices for goods and services, they must consider the influence of competition on wages as well. When setting a policy on how to react to the competition wages, HR professionals have three choices. Dear students, you may have read in the microeconomics that when the producer sets price for his good, he keeps in mind the market condition, whether the market is monopolistic, whether the market is extremely competitive, where the market is oligopolistic, or any other. Similarly, in setting the wage rate, the HR professions also have three choices. Match the competition by paying the market or going rate for labor. You can pay the market rate to match the competition. If you want to lead the market, then you will have to pay higher wages than the market. And if you want to lag behind, then you can pay slightly less than what the market rate is. Cost of living. We know that with increase in the general price level, the price of consumer goods increases, and it reduces the purchasing power of the wages in real terms. Similarly, with the increase in the wages, the cost of living rises, and the cost of living also varies according to the locations. In some areas, the cost of living may be higher, while in other it may be lower. The cost of living is higher in the areas where which are developed, while in the less developed areas this is comparatively lower. Collective bargaining. The major function of the most unions or collective bargaining units is to negotiate for wages of its members. So while developing the compensation package, the stakeholders of the trade union should also be taken into account. Communicating with employees. No matter how the wage structure is developed, employees must know how the system is derived. If organizations neglect to inform the employees and fail to communicate how the process works, it will only lead to the problem later on. In fact, many reports note that how the pay plan is communicated is important as what communicated.